All right, okay, well, I would normally gavel us to a beginning, but we don't have a gavel in this room, so we've been booted out of the council chambers. What's going on in the council chambers?
The Police Oversight Commission.
Oh, I see, okay. All right, well, obviously we know who takes precedence, don't we? We'll have to sign a petition about that. Anyway, at this time, I'll notify the recording secretary to start the meeting. And I'd like to call this Historic Resource Commission special meeting of January 11th to order. And we're going to start with Vice Chair Ed Marshall, who's going to be leading us with the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's all please stand.
Place your hand over your heart, face the flag, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Christie, Commissioner Cornelius, Commissioner Scanilla,
Here.
Commissioner Harding, here, Commissioner Halligan, here, Commissioner Shipp, Vice Chair Malashi,
Here.
Chair Rush, Chair Quinn has been reached at 4:35.
Okay. From you. Thank you. Members of the public may attend Historic Resource Commission meetings in person or virtually on Zoom. I will invite the Commission Secretary to describe the manner in which the public can access and participate in this meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.sana-ana.pranga.com/public/portal. If you would like to provide a public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 858-7424-8080. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. Enter meeting ID number 858-7424-8080. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, press 9 to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon with the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you are called upon, you may press 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak, and I will alert you when your time is up.
Okay, moving on. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak on non-agenda items? Okay, so no, we don't have.
We don't have any speakers.
Okay, all right. Okay, before we move to our consent calendar, we have one business. And that is when we have a commissioner. Did I get this correct? Commissioner Shipp is absent due to illness?
He did say he was gonna attend via Zoom. However, I don't see him on our Zoom.
Okay, so that's Shipp. And then Commissioner Cornelius is absent due to, he's sick or
He
something,
is sick, yes.
right? Okay, so is there anything else we need to do on that, Madam Secretary?
Because Commissioner Shipp's not on Zoom, we're not gonna vote for him to attend the meeting.
For what?
We're not gonna vote for him to attend the meeting.
Okay, well, we should do that then. So if he comes on later, he's okay? Or no, I would think if he's not here, we can't.
Chair, she's not currently on the meeting Zoom. We'll continue to monitor to see if he joins and if. Correct.
Okay. Okay, consent calendar. Consent calendar. Discussion. Is there a motion? Chair, a motion to approve. Beg your pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I should tell you now. I got a hand infection over here, so my hearing is impaired. So I'm a disabled person here at this meeting. So if I seem incoherent on this side of the room, please know I'm not trying to ignore you.
Yes, you are.
That's all right. I was just motioning to approve. Was a little confused by alternative. What am I? We had to also motion to approve I'm sorry. Motion to approve an excused absence for Cornelius and for Ship, or just Ship.
We'll have to come back.
Okay, an excused absence for just Commissioner Cornelius.
Okay, do we have a second for a motion for an excused absence? Who was one?
You're doing the. You're doing the consent calendar, which is approving the minutes and the excused absence of Commissioner Cornelius, and that requires a second. So for both documents. Under consent.
Okay. Commissioner, a second? Commissioner Christie.
Chair Rush, Commissioner Ship is now on Zoom. Would you like to make a motion on that before the?
Your motion?
Yeah, I don't even think I have to amend it. We could just put this on pause and then go back to do the other vote, is my understanding.
Is that correct?
Yes.
That's good. Okay, so I'm going to try to second.
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius, Commissioner Scalia, Commissioner Harding,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardigan,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nawashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush, motion approved by majority vote.
Then Chair Rush, just for the record, this is an opportunity to allow Commissioner Ship to partake in the meeting under emergency provisions pursuant to AB 2449. There's 2 times it can be done per calendar year. So this is 1 out of 2 for the year 2024.
Okay. Commissioner Ship, okay. Our technical consequence consent calendar and the business calendar session. Process with public hearing, so what to expect.
Is that clear?
The public hearing on the road. And speak up in 15 minutes. We will be given an opportunity to respond to comments made to the public, limited to 5 minutes. Public hearing will then be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address. That is voluntary. State whether you support a proposal or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. The formal action taken by the Historic Resources Commission shall become effective after the 10-day appeal period unless the city council holds a public hearing on the matter. And the formal action will become effective on the day following the hearing and decision by the city council. An appeal from the decision or requirement of the commission must be filed with the clerk of the council and a copy sent to the planning department within 10 days of the date of the commission's action. The appeal may be made by any interested party, individual, or group. Item 1 says the time and place for Historical Resources Commission application number 223-06 and Historic Preservation Agreement number 223-12 located at 125 Lincoln Street, located within the single family residence R1 zoning district and otherwise known as the Washington Square neighborhood. Before we begin, the commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? I'll start with to my right, Commissioner Christie.
Yes, I visited on Saturday. I visited the property on Saturday and spoke to Beth, the owner, on Saturday also.
Okay. Commissioner Escamilla?
Nothing to disclose.
Okay. Commissioner Hardy?
I drove around the property, and just looked at it from the outside and from the front and the back.
Commissioner Brennan?
I have nothing to disclose, thank you.
Commissioner Marshall?
I visited both properties with Commissioner Christie on Saturday and spoke with Bethany, the homeowner.
Okay. And I can't remember the date, but it was sometime in the last, I don't know, week or 10 days. I did not speak with him. I these present owners own it now, but anyway, so it was, I did this property. So, staff, if you wish to ask any presentations,
And before we continue, it was brought to my attention by IT that these mics that we are currently using are super sensitive. If we can speak a little bit further away from the microphone, that way it sounds clearly on Zoom and on YouTube.
Okay. All right, I'll try to be more sensitive about that, even though my hearing is, only partial. Anyway.
Good evening. Is this good? Can you hear me? It's okay? Okay. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Great to be here in an unusual setting. Item number 1 is for, not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, the Waitok House. This item is a request to place the property addressed 925 North Lowell Street on the Santa Ana Register and to execute a Mills Act agreement with the property owner. Staff recommends approval of this item. The Waitok House is a Spanish Revival style constructed in 1928. It's located in Washington Square. The architect and builder are unknown. The house qualifies for listing in the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties under Criterion 1 as an intact example of the Spanish Revival style home in Santa Ana. The recommended categorization is contributive because it contributes to the overall character and history of Washington Square and is a representative example of the Spanish Revival style architecture in Santa Ana. Character defining features of the house include, but are not limited to, the following: its rectangular shaped building footprint and massing, asymmetrical primary facade, the hipped roof clad in clay tiles that has a flat roof at its center, minimal eave overhang, original smooth stucco siding, which is as part of the Mills Act to be restored with or without the trowel pattern. Partially enclosed covered patio at the primary facade with multiple arched openings. a covered patio at the side north facade with arched openings, wood windows with a prominent wood window sill on all original windows, single and multi-light wood frame doors, terracotta tile flooring at the main entrance walkway, front and side porches and the rear entrance steps, decorative tiles within the terracotta flooring, the detached garage, and lastly, the front yard landscaping. And then again, as a refresher, I've included this slide that explains the contributive category overview. So in order to qualify for contributive category, a building, structure, object, or site must contribute to the overall character and history of a neighborhood or district, and or is a good example of period architecture. And then additional photos of the property are shown here. The far left is the primary west facade. The middle photo is the main entrance within the covered front porch. And then the far right photo shows the original tripartite wood window at the primary facade. And then lastly, staff recommends that the commission adopt a resolution to approve HRCA number 2023-20 and HRC 2023-06, and recommend that the city council authorize HPPA number 2023-12. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Questions from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Christie.
Can you hear me now? Am I too far? Not close enough?
I'm a little bit closer.
Is this okay?
You're okay.
Am I okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Andrea. Great report. Go back to the pictures. I want to see the first one that you put. Okay. Okay. If you notice on this, I want everyone on the commissioner to look at the property, look at the landscaping, look at the height of the landscaping. This house is on the corner of Lowell and 10th, 9th, 10th, right? On the corner. Okay, when we talk about view corridor is where no matter where you walk on the side of the property, going to the front and on, you can see the entire property. On that, the structure of the historic home, and that none of the landscaping is prohibiting any view of that property from the view corridor. In addition, we have an ordinance, and we'll cover that ordinance later on. But I want everyone to show the other pictures, please. As you can see, once again, you can see the full property and the distinguished features of them. So I want the commissioners to keep this vision in mind, and we will discuss further about the view corridor. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Christie, you're asking about a view that is not represented in one of these pictures. Questions of staff, Commissioner Hardy?
Yes, I'm curious. I have a question and a comment. Can the garage be seen from the street?
Yes.
How important is it to keep and maintain the clay tile coping and clay tile roof awning on the garage?
The garage was listed as a character defining feature as part of the historic property. It has been altered. The garage door is not original, and that's mentioned and is part of the Mills Act work plan. But any of the features that tie in with the main house should be preserved or restored.
Including the clay tile,
Mhm.
roof awning and
Yeah.
coping. Okay, thank you.
Chairman, I have another question. Andrea, when you come in for the fiscal impact, you give an estimate of annually by it being on the Mills Act of the estimate of the savings on the property tax. How do you determine that? How do you arrive at this figure?
So that's, I think it's around 600 something.
22?
Yeah, in the staff report. That number is actually not the owner's cost savings. It's the amount that will be taken from the city in order to support the Mills Act contract. So their tax savings is not that number, and it's based on not just the city funds, but the county as well. And they're able to call the assessors because it's the financial savings is dealt with the county assessor, and they can give an estimate of what that savings would be to the owner.
To the owner. So this is just what it says will reduce the property tax revenue account
Of the city.
of the city.
Mhm.
Okay, I think you need to put this of the city because of the fact that it's being interpreted as this is how much their property tax is
Mhm.
going to be reduced by. It gives that impression. So we need to define that a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Marashi, did you have any questions? Commissioner Escamilla?
Yeah, so this is just for staff. Wondering how we treat, how do we decide on these corner properties, kind of what the primary corridor is, or the primary kind of like viewscape that we're looking at when analyzing these structures, just because I know we're looking at everything on Lowell and it is addressed on Lowell, but you can argue that there's probably more frontage on 10th Street, right? So to the north of the property, and we're not really kind of getting any of those views. Obviously, I think we have the one from the garage, but you know, how important would any of the work from the side elevation, though technically, again, just the dominating side of this particular building? How do we kind of decide that internally or with consultants?
Good question. So corner properties that are historic often have more than one primary facade. So this one has two. But the front that you can see right here on Lowell is the primary, but then you can see part of the one on 10th Street, but there is a small hedge that's blocking it, but you can see part of the window. So those features do matter, and we want to make sure that they're maintained.
Yeah, just because I think it's even if they were kind of keeping in line with whatever legal fence height that they had, it would probably be blocked. Right now, like you said, it's a small hedge, but a 7-foot hedge is a decent sized hedge out there. So just whatever we do on the improvements, just to make sure that we kind of take a look at this particular property on a 360-degree view, right? So whatever we can kind of keep consistent on both facades, that's all I'm really asking for.
Commissioner Marashi?
I'd comment about that, hundreds of people have actually seen the garage and visited the garage more than the house, because when you look at the history, for decades, that was a polling place in that whole neighborhood. For years and years and years, it was in the register all the time.
I have a question. I mentioned that something about the stucco. I wasn't sure. Apparently what's on there now is rough stucco. And they're going to remove that and put smooth stucco on.
Yeah, currently the stucco is too rough for Spanish Revival, and the owners are agreeing to restoring the stucco. It should be smoother and to be more period appropriate.
I see.
That's part of the Mills Act work plan.
So that would be a condition of approval?
I mean, they have to complete it as part of their Mills Act.
Is there a timeline on that?
We do have an estimate.
I saw in what you sent us that
Yeah.
there was this elaborate plan of all the things they're going to do, which went out to about the period when my grandson will graduate from high school. But I was just wondering, I've never seen such a multi-year work plan. Normally we get stuff that's within 2 or 3 years. Is that the norm?
It is the norm across cities throughout California.
Really?
Mhm. It's a 10-year work plan. We try to do the most important things up front if we can, but there's flexibility. We know things come up if they can't do it immediately, but it has to be done within the 10 years.
Okay, I mean, I think it's a good idea and I'm all in favor of it, but, I don't recall seeing that before. Okay. Okay, so now commissioners have any further questions of staff? Okay. The public hearing is now open. Does, the commissioner have any comments or questions from the applicant, and perhaps the applicant would like to come up to the table and see the microphone down at the end there. Sure, please do. Yeah. Don't forget the magic 4 inches away from the, or havoc will ensue.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. I'm Bethany Thomas. I'm sorry my husband is not able to be here today. He's in Los Angeles on work. Thank you again for the opportunity. We've been wanting to do this for many, many years. Kelly and I were newlyweds when we purchased the home in 2003, and this was going to be our starter home. We had come over from Long Beach, Belmont Heights specifically, and if you're familiar with that area, you know that Santa Ana, specifically our neighborhood, is very similar in architecture on Lowell Street and on Olive. So we were very excited to have found our home. I will tell you that we're in our home now 21 years. And so the 5-year plan went out the window for a couple of very important reasons. The city of Santa Ana, the character, the joy, and the community that we have in Washington Square is second to none. And we couldn't imagine living anywhere else. So Long Beach was taken off of the table. So we're proud to be part of the Santa Ana community. Just want to give you a little bit of a flavor of how important our contribution to the city is in a number of different ways. We have made a considerable investment in our home already, and the neighborhood itself is very important to us. I've served on the board of directors of Washington Square. I'm currently on the ad hoc committee trying to get a walkable neighborhood park. There's a lot that's empty at the end of the street by 17th and 15th. And so it's just really important that we try and do our best as a neighborhood to restore the community, make it as beautiful as possible, because we know how beautiful it is. It's been an honor to have been recognized by both the city of Santa Ana and our neighborhood for a number of awards that we've received for both the landscaping in the front and in the back. And I don't know if you've heard of the Mary Lou Hurd Garden Tour. This is our 2nd year that we are on the tour, and we're very, very honored to be on this tour for a variety of different reasons. So, with the designation of the historic registry, we will continue regardless to restore our home. Commissioner Rush, I will tell you that stucco is something that we have wanted to do for a very long time, replacing the roof and other, structural important things have been more important. But the stucco itself, we have received a variety of bids on, and that is between $20,000 and $30,000 just to restore the stucco. So I will tell you, just the savings in our property taxes, it will take a really long time to even, get to that point.
Yeah.
But we are committed to doing that. But I just wanted to share that with you. Now, that's really all I wanted to say. I hope I've given you enough reasons and why this is very important to us and our community. So thank you again.
Okay. Do any commissioners have questions or comments on the applicant? Commissioner Christie?
As we said, we have letters from all of your neighbors supporting your request.
We have a lot of neighbors here today supporting us, so thank you.
I mean, they have my email, they know and everything. And it is just, we talk about Floral Park and West Floral Park, But if you haven't been to Washington Square, over there, that is truly a historic treasure that we have also in our city. And I keep talking to former Mayor Pro Tem Tom Lutz. You need to be on the historic, what do we do? Historic register.
Millsack.
No.
Districts.
District. Thank you.
Oh.
You guys need to do that because you already had one incident where you had a house torn down and putting a trailer on it. You need to preserve that area. And I know, Vice Chair Marisha gave the name of the person who helped them to get that, historic designation for Floral Park to work with that, because you've got beautiful architect. I mean, every design that truly respect the history of Santa Ana.
Agreed. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that is
No,
also a big
that's-
reason why we want a walkable park, because we want to prevent developers to come in. Most importantly, we want the park for the neighborhood and the children, but we also want to prevent developers from coming in, because that is what we're afraid of. And the historic designation, I understand, would help prevent us from having a
Get
developer come in.
that district, because I know you're organized, and get it up and move forward, because you already had one case of them kind to invade in there, but you're so dedicated. All of the residents there are so dedicated in preserving that area. You got to step it up.
Absolutely. Our co-president of the neighborhood, Nina Jurek, is actually here today in support of this. And so we would love to pursue any assistance and guidance in that process. We would love to pursue that.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners have comments or questions of the applicant? Commissioner.
I'm also from Wilshire Square, and I'm very active in my association, so I understand your love and passion for our city and your neighborhood. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, all right, Madam Secretary, don't have any communications I know there is. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak on this?
We have received written communication that has been distributed to the commission and published online. If you're attending person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. I will wait for a few seconds.
Pushing the my turn. Are you coming up to speak? I misspoke. I'm sorry. Sure you don't want to speak? Well, I guess not.
We don't have any speakers.
We have no speakers or here. Okay. Okay. Public hearing has been closed. Is there a motion to approve this in a second? That's all it is. Oh, Commissioner Christie?
Chairman Rush, also, if I may, lead the council.
What is it?
Before there's any vote taken, as a matter of housekeeping, we would need Commissioner Schiff to disclose whether or not there's anybody in the room with him that's over the age of 18.
Sorry.
It's necessary for the
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes.
Is there anyone in the room with you?
No, there's no one in the room with me.
Okay, all right, can we proceed? All right,
yes, sir.
Commissioner Christie?
Okay, Chair, I'd like to move the recommended action of adopting a resolution approving Historic Resource Commission application number 2023-20 and Historic Register categorization number 2023-06. Number 2, recommend that the city council authorize the city manager and clerk of the council to execute the Attached Mills Act agreement with Kelly S. Thomas and Bethany S. Thomas, trustees of the Thomas Living Trust dated March 28, 2022, subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and city attorney.
Second. Commissioner Riley seconds. Clerk, would you like to call the-
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius, Commissioner Scarnilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Ship,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Washing,
Yes.
Chair Rush.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Cornelius absent.
Okay, congratulations. Very good. All right, this is the Ontario Place for Historic External Modification Application 223-10 for the property located at 104 the Cove Drive, located within the city family residence zoning district, and more specifically, the historic Flower Park neighborhood. Before we begin, the commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? I'll start with Commissioner Christie.
Yes, I visited the property on Saturday. The owners, I did not talk to, I didn't see any of the owners there, but I did walk the whole property line.
Okay. Mr. Escamilla?
Nothing to disclose.
Okay. Commissioner Harvey?
I did drive around briefly the property. I did not walk it. I just drove around it.
Commissioner Harvey?
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Manshi?
Did walk the property on Saturday with Commissioner Christie.
Okay. And I do have a tour of this, was about 3 weeks ago. So I had a complete tour. So it was enlightening. Yes. Please. Beg your pardon. Oh, and Commissioner Ship. I didn't hear. Was that a yes or a no?
No.
No. Okay, very good. All right. Okay. That's the commission. Wait a minute, I'm gonna stop. Presentation, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Item number 2 is for a historic exterior modification application for the Elliott House. The application is for HEMA number 2023-10, located at 1904 North Heliotrope Drive. Project includes a historic exterior modification application to allow exterior modifications consisting of modifying 4 balcony railings for child safety, replacing a non-compatible rear entrance stoop, adding 69 square feet to the existing garage/accessory structure in order to convert it into a 3-car garage, and lastly, expanding and repaving the driveway. Staff recommends approval of HEMA 2023-10 as conditioned. Site aerial. The subject property is located in Floral Park on a corner lot that is on the west side of Heliotrope Drive and the north side of 19th Street. The Elliott House was constructed in 1931, along with the detached garage, in the Italian Renaissance Revival style. It's currently listed, it was listed as number 332 on the Santa Ana Register in 2003 at the landmark level, which is the highest level. And because it is in the Floral Park National Register Historic District, the district's automatically listed in the California Register of Historical Resources. And lastly, the property is a contributor to the Floral Park National Register Historic District. And project description includes modifying 4 existing balconies with metal railings for child safety requirements that will be consistent with the building code regulation. And they're located on all 4 second-story facades. Also, replacing a non-compatible rear entrance stoop with a period appropriate stoop, and adding the 69 square feet to the existing garage accessory structure in order to convert it into a 3-car garage with additional storage. And then a list of the administrative HEMA items that do not require discretionary review, but we still list them here so you know what is part of the project. They intend to expand and repave the driveway to accommodate the 3rd new parking space in the garage. Replace the non-original metal security fencing with a new masonry block wall near the northeast corner of the property. Adding new decomposed granite pathway at the north property line. And then lastly, removal of minimal landscape features, shrubs and grass in order to accommodate the driveway expansion and the pathway. The existing and proposed site plan. The image to the left indicates the existing building footprint of the main house, the garage, and the accessory structure. The proposed site plan on the right shows that the primary residence footprint will not be changed. You can see the proposed modifications include a wider driveway, the accessory building addition, and a new pathway at the property's northeast corner, which are outlined in red on the right image. So first floor demolition plan. At the main residence, the only thing to be removed on the first floor is the non-original stoop, which is at the rear, and it's outlined in red. Second floor demolition plan includes the 4 balcony railing modifications. Their locations are outlined in red. And then here's the existing and proposed balcony railing details. So the image on the left shows the existing balcony railings. These railings currently do not meet building code in height and width between each railing. The right image shows the modified railing, which will be extended in height, and new railings will be added between each of the existing railings for child safety and to meet building regulation. And now the existing and proposed primary east elevations. The existing elevation is on the top and the proposed is on the bottom. You can see the railings will be minimally extended in height and additional railings will be added, which are outlined in red. Also, the new masonry block wall will be visible from the east elevation where the red arrow is pointing towards. And here is the existing and proposed primary south elevation, because this building has 2 primary facades. Similarly, you can see the new balcony railings that are outlined in red. And now we're looking at the existing and proposed north side elevation. Again, the new balcony railings are outlined in red. And the last elevation shows the 2nd story balcony modifications and the 1st story stoop replacement outlined in red. Now we'll move on to the existing and proposed floor plans for the garage / accessory structure. So the image on the left shows the existing footprint. The left volume is the original garage and the right volume is the accessory structure that is not original to the property. And I'm just talking about the left image right now. The accessory structure build date is not confirmed. However, based on historic building permits, it was likely 1944. The accessory structure currently has a dividing wall with an internal door connecting it to the garage. So there's an internal connection. The proposed floor plan on the right, the image on the right, shows the internal wall and the door being demolished to open the space and expand the garage to a 3-car garage, with the addition of 69 square feet at the rear of the accessory structure, where it's outlined in red to the top box that's outlined in red. And then a new garage door opening will be added to the primary south facade, which is outlined in red. Now the existing and proposed primary south elevation for the garage accessory structure. The existing band of windows will be removed to accommodate the changes I just went over. The bottom image shows the proposed elevation with a new garage door, and you can see the extended new roof line at the accessory structure. And the roof line will match existing with the clay tile roof. And now the rear north elevation. This will be modified to accommodate the addition with new doors to access the new interior garage storage rooms and a new pair of multi-light wood doors and side lights. The horizontal siding will also be removed in place of stucco to match the addition's new wall that will be stucco. And this is another vantage point. You can see the roof line being extended to accommodate the addition. And now we're at the east side elevation. Here the siding will be removed at the accessory structure. You can see the addition outlined in red with the new roof ridge, where the red arrow, the middle red arrow is pointing to. And at the garage, an existing door will be moved in place of an existing window location in order to accommodate the new interior storage configuration. And then on the west side elevation, no proposed changes. And now the existing and proposed garage accessory structure roof plan. You can see the new clay tile roof over the addition will match the existing roof, and there'll be a new ridge. The Secretary of Interior Standards, the project complies with rehabilitation standards 1 through 5 and 9 through 10. Standards 6 through 8 are not applicable, and it complies with guidelines for preserving, rehabilitating, restoring, and reconstructing historic buildings. And then just to go over the ones that do not apply, standard 6 relates to deteriorated features and replacement of missing features, which this project does not include. And then standard 7 relates to chemical or physical treatments, and standard 8 relates to archaeology. So in conclusion, staff recommends adopting a resolution approving a certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2023-10 as conditioned. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Does the commission have any questions of staff? Would that be Commissioner Christie? What a shock, you almost never say anything. Commissioner Christie, yes.
We had this in 2003. This building was landmark. Okay, on our register, because it's now a historic district, it's contributed.
No.
No,
I can explain that.
Would
It's
you
a
please?
different concept.
Okay.
Yeah, it was landmarked in 2003. Separately, in the Floral Park National Register District, they determine in the nomination which properties contribute and which don't to the district. This one contributes. It's not labeled contributive as in our local register listing. It's a separate thing.
Oh, but it's still on our register as landmark.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because it's landmark. You know, we fought very hard for that, but Okay, when, the new owners of the property, when did they purchase this? When did you purchase? 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, that answers the questions right there. The previous owners, and I'm going to give you a little, this property has been on the city's radar for a long time, okay? Because the previous owner of that property came to this commission to get an exception for landscaping. Okay? Well, I was chair of the commission during the time that his appeal. When I came on the council in 1998, Councilwoman Lisa Biss and I, one of the areas that we promoted was that we wanted to clean up Santa Ana. It consistent with codes, regulations, and everything. So the committee was known as the Neighborhood Improvement Code Enforcement. NICE. The acronym of NICE. We were nice. So when we got as co-chairs of the commission, we put in and we helped with code enforcement, put in ordinance as far as height length for gates, shrubbery, landscaping that would apply throughout all of Santa Ana, no exceptions whatsoever. We had 66 neighborhood associations that came in and supported this. Council approved it unanimously because of the fact no exception equally applied. We grandfathered properties in that had some of the violations, but would put a hardship on the residents that own those properties. So we grandfathered those. This is not one of them. Your property was not. So the owner came in and said, I don't care. I want it. We turned him down. He appealed, went to arbitration, and the arbitrator said, yeah, I'll go with the owner of the property. Neighborhood came in, appealed that decision. We went to the planning commission. The neighborhood won. He had to comply with the city ordinance unanimously. And the city of Santa Ana, the city council approved it also. So he had to comply. That is the story. This is why when we viewed your property, one of the things we noted was the landscaping. It's got to come in and comply with the city ordinance because of the fact you're in a corner lot. And remember I showed you the property before you with the view corridor. You cannot see but the second level of your property from the sidewalk or the street or anything. You're a landmark property. It has to be shown. So it has to go back into ordinance. Staff, it has to comply before, it has to be conditioned. And there has to be something in, because you have new people coming in. We had COVID. We have a shortness of staff on code enforcement. There somehow have to be a checklist as you're going with these historic properties, where they're coming in for modification or putting on the register, that you're looking at the codes also as far as on the landscaping. Okay, that before they come to us, it has to be in compliance. Ollie, there you go. Okay. So.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. We are looking at images of the property at the moment, and while we continue to review, the commission can continue to discuss if this item is important enough as a condition or of approval for tonight. A motion could entertain that notion of revisiting the landscape for this.
That it is the working. It is, it has to be in here. No exception. I just wanted to bring that so that we can do things with this study. More on this, that is.
Commissioner Heffernan.
Yeah, I guess three items on this one. So I guess let's start with the roof line. I think the ridge line slide, it might have been 30 or 27 or something. Let's see that. There we go. So I guess just on this particular property, like everything pretty much is ending in a hip roof, and for whatever reason, this one is just a regular gable at the end. Was there any thought as to matching it? Just because again, every single like roof line in this particular building and site, all hip roof everywhere consistently. So I'm not sure if we are going to go ahead and, we're changing the roof line already, whether or not that was something that was considered, discussed, or talked about with the applicant.
I did not discuss it. I mean, we can also talk to the architect is here tonight. We can discuss it. But I know that this addition, it's not visible from the street, so it's completely concealed. And it's 69 square feet that they're adding. So I'm not sure like structurally if this is the only way it could be done, but we can ask them.
So I guess we'll keep that for the architect when they're ready. And yeah, just because I know we're not supposed to kind of fake the historicism, but it does seem to be, if we're going to go ahead and revise this to match the structure and style more coherently, it seems like the hip roof might be appropriate here. So that's number one. Number two, I think I wanted a little bit more of the details. I know that one of the other major changes was related to the guardrails themselves. I think what matters with these particular kind of set of metal work is when you look at the width of the work, very much in the detailed level. I think we're kind of missing that. So I'm not sure, like, are there going to be any kind of adornments along the base, which are kind of consistently currently there? So the base has this small little, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what they're called.
Like feet.
Yeah, the little feet. But yeah, so that's there currently. So I guess I would just try to go ahead and try to match that or something similar, because if we're getting just the regular kind of rebar that we can kind of get, with a 1x1 by whatever kind of metal tube that is fairly common today, this would be something where it's appropriate, I would imagine, to do. Unfortunately, custom work probably now at this particular moment in time. But if we're matching it to the historic kind of original that we have a good example of, that's, I think, something I would take a look at with that proposed change. And then thirdly, and this is really kind of more to the policy kind of question for the board, really. Is this a Mills Act property? Mm-hmm. Okay. So do we know how much the property is kind of currently getting as a tax rate currently?
We don't get disclosed that information. I don't know.
Okay, so my back of the envelope estimate is that this is a $3 million home that's currently assessed at $400,000. It's a $2 million difference in the assessment. At a 1% rate, we're looking at a $20,000 annual tax savings in this one property. And I think this was done prior to when we had kind of an agreement or a work, I would say a work schedule. So to me, the question becomes, we have this historic property, they're getting an annual tax break of $20,000 per year. What work is being done kind of be commensurate with a tax break that's that large? And I know that is the holistic tax break, not just what the cost to the city is, because the cost to the city will be a smaller percentage of that. But that's just something that I would look at as we evaluate some of these older Mills Acts that are really quite important in making sure that they're used to prod the preservation work that needs to be done. Because otherwise I feel like I'm subsidizing an expansion for a 3-car garage here, quite honestly.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, for that last comment. So in the report, this project is phase 2 out of phase 1. So phase 1 was approved in July this year administratively, because it was all repair, restoration work for things that were deteriorating, like the exterior railings and the windows. The windows had lead, so they were removing the lead. So they are restoring it as well. Yeah.
Can I see the person? Oh, sorry. Manny, are you finished? Okay. Commissioner Harrigan?
It will be a simple, and you can answer that. I know that that's, drawing is just to determine height and width. But, to know that the style will complement the architecture or mimic or replace of the railings you have, just the height and the width will be for code and, child safety. So just concerned about the style because it's such a beautiful property. Thank you.
Commissioner Harden?
Yes, I also have concern about the railings, that the new post, or the new railing, any newer elements need to match anything that's existing. Nothing is existing, then there needs to come up with a plan to have a style of railing that is appropriate to the age and style of the home, not just some plain old thing. Thank you.
Commissioner Rausch?
Yes, and I'm not really clear, but I think that I'm not really sure the drawings are clear, but what I would like to see is very detailed drawings and specs and maybe examples of what is going to be used for the railing material and style. So there's no question about whether it's going to be appropriate or not. Thank you.
Can I say, so these are wrought iron railings, and so the new railings in between each one will match the existing same material. The difference in the style, like you'll see, but it's really hard to see, but there's little notches where the existing railings are at the bottom going to be extended. And so those notches will differentiate, like that is a new addition at the bottom of the railing. But the new railings in between the originals are just straight rails, no notch, to show that they're new.
So am I understanding correctly? They're just adding to what is existing to meet code and safety?
Yeah, they're not throwing away the railings. They're taking them off. They're gonna strip them of lead. They're going to add
Tate?
It's covered in lead. Yeah, and they're going to
Coating.
yeah, they're going to add an extension below the original to heighten it to meet building code, and add the new railings in between to also meet code.
Great, thank
So-
you. That
so-
makes everything clear.
Okay.
Commissioner Rausch?
One of the things, just a comment, when I try to zoom in on the drawings, it's impossible to see the details. You can't even see some of the numbers and make out the letters and numbers. If you could next time, please give the full higher resolution, even if you have to make that a separate PDF document as an attachment, so we can zoom in and get the details. One of the concerns that I have is the garage door. What is the garage door? I'll be looking forward to what the team has to say about the textures of the garage door. Just from the pictures, it looks quite a bit different than anything else in the house. And being as large as that is, that's a concern of mine. So I'd like to learn more about that. The other thing is, a question for the staff is 19th and or Heliotrope an arterial street?
Either roadways and arterial street,
Therefore, the hedge has to be 3 feet.
36 inches.
36 inches, right, correct, per section 41-609.5. Okay, thank you very much.
And Commissioner Schiff, do you have any questions?
No, you
Yeah,
guys pretty much
sir.
said everything.
Huh?
I said, all the other commissioners pretty much said all the concerns that I had, so I'm in agreement.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. Exterior balconies which are not being addressed.
There is one that they are not modifying. It's made out of wood. The balustrades are wood, and it's a decorative. It's not meant to be stood on.
I see.
And that they were going to close there's a door that opens to that balcony, and they're going to make it permanently fixed for safety.
I see.
So
Okay. Okay. Added on the, what is it on the, at the north boundary? What is that to be covered with? Is it crepe and fig or stucco or what? Is it, I mean, I some fashion, it'll match the house, so one will think it was always there, right?
I don't know the exact details. We can ask the architect, but
Okay,
I think it's just a simple wall. It's supposed to just blend in and not be noticeable.
well, it would seem like it would need to be stuck out and then have
Mhm.
some landscape product grow over it, so it
Mhm.
goes away, I would think. I mean, maybe we're picking the fly specks out of the pepper, but that's what we're here to do. You like that, huh? Commissioner Christie? Also, and the garage is to be a three-car garage. And when I look at how come, is it an optical illusion that is the door, it's gonna be what, a one car and a two car doors, there'll be two doors, is that it?
Yes, two doors, one door, the existing door accommodates two parking spots and then the new door is one.
One, okay, all right, okay,
Yeah.
all right. That concludes my questions. Okay, so, public hearing is now open. At this time, I'm going to ask the applicant and their architect to come forward there to the microphone at the end of the table. And I know commissioners have comments, numerous questions of the architect and the applicant. So anyway, I'll start with you, Alberta. Do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I just agree with you.
Commissioners, any of you have specific questions or do you want to allow them to, okay, all right, Robert?
Good evening, Chair and committee members. Happy to be in front of you. A tremendous amount of work has gone into just these small changes, and I want to thank staff for helping with that. As was introduced, this is phase two of a larger rehabilitation plan for the house, and it was intentionally split into two phases because many of the projects were simply repair, replace in kind, where we had actual physical changes to the property. Those fell into phase two. The property, I think most of you are familiar with it. Some of you have gone by it. It truly is a treasure to the city of Santa Ana. The home, from what I understand, is one of 4 speculative houses that were built in Floral Park to sort of set the tone of future development. And no expense was spared on this house, certainly. It is a rare example of Renaissance revival, not only in Santa Ana, but even in the county. I would say it's one of the best homes I've ever been in. So I was very honored to be chosen to work with the owners on this house. My name is Robert M. Bowden, and I have a preservation consulting firm in Orange. Don't hold that against me. But much of the phase one is already underway. The real nexus for much of the rehabilitation was to abate the house of lead. The owners have 2 young children, one which has come since I've been working, so we're on a clock here. One of their children has tested positive for lead exposure, so it's obviously important, critically important to them that they create a safe environment while respecting the history of the house. The railings, as noted in terms of exterior work, the railings do have lead finish on them currently, which is peeling. So just to be clear on that, the railings are solid traditional wrought iron, beautifully detailed, as some of you have mentioned. So the intention is not to change the design, but add intermittently, because the gaps right now are at 8 inches, which is a little high, a little wide, obviously, for a second-story balcony, which then below it is hard surface. So, and they're also quite low. So what we have done is done a design where it gets raised and additions are put on. There was a question about the little flared feet that exist. Those will remain as knuckles, which will show where the piece is added, where the old ends and where the new starts. And then the new will not have those knuckles and continue all the way to the base rail so that there's a clear distinction. Well, not clear, but if one looks closely enough, could understand that what is new and what is old. So again, to match.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So the design, as you see it, is exactly what it will be, because it is additive to what is there and it will match the existing. There was a question raised about the little Juliet balcony on the front of the house. That is slightly different. It does not have a door that opens to it. It has a very low window, but there's a little 6 or 8 inch space underneath the window. And although one could, in theory, step out onto it, it's not really meant for that. We couldn't really find a design that would preserve the integrity as much because those are turned balusters of wood. And so we concluded that we would just fix that interior door for the time being to prevent any fall hazard there, but it will also have the lead removed from it. In terms of the garage is a curious building. If we could go back to that front facade, the garage was built at the same time as the house, which is nearest the rear property line. Then there is a building permit with the dimensions for additions to the house. However, it's really an addition to the garage, but there is no addition to the house, and the dimensions are the same as this building that's added to the garage. So we have to presume that that was that permit. What you see in the upper left image there is actually the old garden wall that connected the house to that original garage. And part of it is obscured because it currently goes inside the building. The building right now rests on top of that garden wall. It's 40s. I guess this is the way things were permitted. The left gable, the left end of that addition also sits on the rafter tails of the original garage. That is the support. There is no wall underneath it. Really? So it's a leaking problem, but it's also that there's no structure underneath it to speak of. So the new garage will place that wall behind the garden wall so that it can be retained. This Baroque scroll from the house down to the house to the garden wall will now be exposed again. The existing shed is clad in a horizontal wood siding. It very much takes on more of a ranch character, which we start to see appearing in the 40s through the 50s. So it was contemporary with the trend at that time. And the rear stoop also has flagstone, which again is part of this 1940s work. And then the pool was actually put in the 50s. So those are later modifications. So we're treating this as a non-contributing part of the property. There was a question about the ridge, and I just want to be clear that the ridge of the existing garage is retained. It just, in the proposed design, extends over to the existing garage to eliminate this drainage situation that currently exists. The gable end, I don't know that we were necessarily avoiding using a hip. My kind of knee jerk to that response to that would be that I probably would prefer a gable to differentiate this as an addition rather than, I think once it becomes a hip, then it all kind of melds together. So I do think that this is a subtle differentiation in the language, if you will, of the modifications. Yes. Yes.
Can you use your arrow to point, I'm sorry, to point to, as Mr. Bolden is describing, to help us distinguish where is he going with it? What area is he looking at? Especially when we're talking about between the garage and the other one that came together.
So
Am I looking at
this is the wall.
the ones that I'm looking at two different, is that what they're talking about over there, or is it the one
It's
that's over
Here
here?
too.
right there, where you were talking about, it was like the forties designed to bring that together. So as he's describing, could you just move your arrow so that make sure that we're concentrating on the right description of what
Okay,
you're telling
so
us?
it might be more helpful, actually, Andrew, if you could highlight where this scroll is in the proposed design. So the house originally had this scroll wall, which starts at the second level and then drops down and creates, and there's a doorway beneath, a gate beneath it. And then that continues with this garden wall that then went over to the garage. It's a little bit difficult to tell that today when you go by the property and look at it, because the new building is kind of piggybacked onto it, so much so that part of that scroll actually now occurs inside the building. So what appears to be a stucco wall there of the garage is really the original wall with now the 1940s change sitting on top, literally resting on top of it. So the new proposal brings that wall inside of the garden wall so that that garden wall can still stay proud of that front facade itself. And then that scroll gets revealed by pulling it back, if that makes sense. Does that clarify what I
That
was?
helps.
what I
That
was
helps
getting
when
at?
you're describing, because I'm going, what is he talking about?
So then there was a question about the garage door. This is what I'm proposing right now is just a simple wood vertical plank, T&G, probably a rough sawn, just very, very simple vernacular to go in this Mediterranean style. The gates, both at the street as well as this, have been consistently done in this, what I would say, rather nondescript style that really I think is more period appropriate, but also really kind of steps back and lets the house be the star, since this is an accessory building and these are just garden fences. So that was the thought behind that, the approach behind that. It will just receive a dark, as I described it, as a walnut brown stain on it. That's the proposed finish.
Style using some of the gates, you said?
We have two gates proposed as part of this project. One is out at the street.
But nothing existing has a vertical pattern.
I believe there is some in the gate. Yeah, so actually where we were just looking, that gate that's underneath this Baroque scroll kind of design, that actually does have that. Yeah. And I think that's, I don't know, were there other questions that I could
What's the
address?
masonry block wall going to be covered with?
Just a stucco finish to match the remainder of the property, same as the new
So it's not
garage finish,
It's not going to be left as a.
not as a
just
block wall, no,
Yeah.
it'll have
Okay.
a plain stucco finish,
see.
yeah.
Okay.
And as far as landscaping, it's actually not that visible from the street. If we go to the site plan, keep in mind, this is 50 feet back at least from the street. It's a very, very generous setback on the front lawn here. And there is landscaping in front of it, at that edge of the property. So I'm not going to say that it's not visible, but I certainly don't think it's going to be predominant, because there's plenty of trees and shrubs and that kind of thing to mask it. Yeah, I did, just out of curiosity, wanted to share with you. I have something that was put together a number of years ago on this property. I wanted to show you the original garden design. The applicants have no problem maintaining that hedge at that height. But I did want to show you the historic garden that actually was originally planted for this. The garden that's there today is much, much more restrained than what the original design included. Yeah.
Oh, Commissioner Escamilla?
Yeah, no, actually, and if you can just explain that little gap now that's there, so where this wall is that we're talking about. In fact, you guys appear to be opening it up just a little bit to the, oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah, because that's actually a nice little detail. I wasn't sure from the other image.
so what is there now? And I presume you're talking about between the side of the house and the side property line and what's there. So that wall actually will go away and be rebuilt. Right now it is a block wall that's just painted. And it uses the fluted blocks that were popular mid-century. And so I think that was probably part of the 50s pool changes to the property. And right now I think it's partial stucco and partial paint. It's not the most attractive part of the property. And there's also some security bars that have been added there that we're going to try to clean up. It's probably the weak part of the property right now, but they still, of course, want to maintain some sense of security for the property. And there is a pool, so there does have to be a 6-foot high fence.
Right. No, and I think it was just that small section. It was a nice addition and revision. So just appreciating that.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you wanted to.
The existing garage was that attached.
It was originally detached and it still is detached. The accessory, if we want to call it the garage conversion part, the accessory building that we're converting to a garage, the only change to the footprint is that little bump out in the back of 69 feet. And that is just simply to give us the depth that's required for an interior clear space on a garage. So the side and the front, if viewed from the street, stay the same.
I'm BJ Magnuson and this is Laura Magnuson. We are very thankful for you having us on your board, and yeah, thank you for having us here. We are very familiar and sensitive to the previous owners, just from the horror stories we've heard about. And I mean, our neighbor Jeff Katz, who was the attorney for all of Floral Park, we're really good friends with him, and we're always open ears with everyone in our neighborhood. We show everyone our drawings and stuff, make sure they're all happy with it before you even come to this. And right now, the hedge is like 4 feet. And that's because I asked all the neighbors, would you rather look at an ugly chain link fence for like 2 years again, or would you rather have some like a foot higher hedge? They all wanted a higher hedge. So it will go back to the 3 feet, 36 inches that you guys want immediately when the fence is gone. Structure will still be going on. And we love this neighborhood and appreciate the historical. I mean, we're redoing the whole roof because we don't want the paintings on the ceilings that were hand painted in 1932 to get ruined. And it's I mean, we're really putting about as much money as we paid for the house to do all the renovations on this, just because we appreciate it so much. And most of all, the neighborhood is incredible. You just can't buy that.
You hear me?
Turned it off. Sorry. I'm not good with this kind of stuff. So I just wanted to add that we just moved in 2021. So it'll be coming up on 3 years, which seems amazing, but I can't even begin to express how much we love the city of Santa Ana and the Floral Park community. You know, in today's day where so many people are so lonely and isolated, to live in a community where everybody gets together and, you know, has friendships, and you go over to your neighbors' houses for dinner, for, you know, for all sorts of things and events. It's like out of a dream. And we've just completely fallen in love with the house, with the neighborhood. And we just want to do whatever we can to improve that and contribute to both the history and the future of the neighborhood and the city. We really, we've been given so much by being a part of this community, and we just want to give as much as we can to contribute to that. So thank you so much for considering our project.
Okay, Commissioner Christie.
Thank you so much. Like you said, the horror stories with the previous owner. he had a song out, I Fought the Law, but the law won. He should have remembered that song.
I agree.
You're fine. But anyway, where did you come? How did you come to Santa Ana? I always want to know, how did we draw you? Because, you heard stories about Santa Ana from people, and don't go there. And also, but when you come in and you see, it's interesting what attracted you to us.
So.
Where did you come from?
I grew up in Costa Mesa. She grew up in South Pass.
I grew up in South Pasadena, and so he really wanted to get back to Orange County, and I did not as much because I lived in South Pasadena for most of my life, and I just really loved the homes and the tree-lined streets and the mature trees, and so we were looking for houses all over, and when we found this one, he kind of gave me some trouble saying, I don't know if I want to live in Santa Ana. And I've never had I don't really know much about the area at all. So I said, let's go see this house. It just looks amazing. And when we went to see it, I fell in love with it for being so much like South Pasadena and feeling, that old neighborhood with the big trees. And then you see little kids riding their bikes down the street. And I just thought, this is where I want to be. And the realtor who was representing the sellers told us a lot about the community, and I didn't really believe her as much as now I do. It's just Sandy DeAngelis. Yeah, I mean, how could she? She wasn't lying, but I thought, how can it possibly be this special? And
She was way too nice to believe it.
yeah, it just seemed impossible, but she was right on. So yeah, I didn't know that much, but what he knew, do you have anything else you want to say about that?
I mean, I had friends in Santa Ana, but not Floral Park or anywhere locally around here. So it's like growing up in Costa Mesa, you heard gunshots over here, but it's completely changed. It is so nice over here now, and it's totally different than what it was 25 years ago, 100%. And I've just been blown away with it big time.
We love it. We never want to move. So.
Well, no, that's why we're doing this.
Thank you.
We do this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here.
Commissioner.
Yeah, no, definitely echoing the welcome. And with that, I would actually just move to approve the item and the application. I don't know if anyone else has notifications.
Hold on, we have to.
To close the meeting, to close.
We have this recording sector. We receive any written communication, or is there a member of the public that would like to speak on the matter?
We have received written communication that has been distributed to the commission and published online. If you are attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you are participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you are calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. We have no speakers.
Okay.
Chair, if I could just add one more comment before you.
Yes, Mr.
I don't think the owners want to brag on themselves, so I would like to do it.
Allow that here, but it's not on.
Well, I know some of the people in the room care about old buildings, so I just wanted to share the extent of the work that is going into this project that is not part of what's on the dais tonight. The clay tile roof will be removed and replaced to replace that roofing. All of the exterior stucco has at some point been given an elastomeric coating and scratch coated. That's going to be restored back to the original finish for the entire building. The lead on the windows upstairs is all being abated. Downstairs, the mahogany windows, which are throughout, doors, windows will all be refinished as well. Quite luckily, there's a lot of stenciled ceilings, murals inside the interior of this home. that date from the very early years, and those luckily did not test out to be too bad, so those will all be saved. There are fixtures and finishes inside the house, tile and so forth. It has very high lead level in it. Those are going to be custom remade to match the originals. So they, from my perspective, I don't get clients like this very often, who care enough and are willing to do it 100% the right way. Another item that comes to mind, the concrete balustrade. It's very common with those over time for the rebar to rust and then they start splitting and spalling, and that we're going through, repairing the ones that can be repaired, replacing, having custom new ones made to match for the ones that are too damaged to be repaired. So it really is a top to bottom rehab that they're doing for the house. And as I say, it really started out of safety considerations, but as they got further and further into it, they really wanted to do this house right. And soon it'll be coming up on its centennial, I guess. So it'll be nice to have this house kind of pushed into the next century with owners that are really doing the right thing to take care of it. There are very, very few modifications to this house, even on the interior. And I think it's a testament to the original design that it just didn't need to be. It's been timeless and it's worked well, obviously, for many, many, many decades now. So I just wanted to, I knew they wouldn't share all that with you. So I wanted to, there was a question about Mills Act and how much work is being done. I think the Mills Act budget, I have more than blown their Mills Act budget for the next 50 years, probably. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Okay, right, so, none of the public wishes to speak, so, I will close the public hearing. And, Commissioner Escamilla, would you like to continue on with Commissioner Starkey?
Sure, and to follow Christie's lead on this, I will move that we adopt a resolution approving the certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2023-10.
All right, and we don't have a second.
Second.
Commissioner Christie. All right. Okay, Madam Secretary, I will call on.
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius, Commissioner Escamilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipp,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Cornelius absent.
Okay, congratulations. All right, this concludes the business calendar. Now we'll be with the staff comments. Primarily staff comments.
Yeah. Chair, if I may, a little bit of housekeeping. Earlier on, when we had that vote, the vote was for Mr. Shipp to be able to join us remotely. However, we never actually approved the consent calendar, which included the consent calendar. So the minutes and the excused absence would need to be re-voted on.
I beg your pardon. There was a motion made.
But yes,
Roll call vote.
there was, however, it was amended to actually just be whether or not Mr. Shipp could join via teleconference.
So what do we need to do to fix that?
Make a motion. Just do a motion to approve the consent calendar and the includes.
Motion first, motion, they will approve the minutes and the absences with Cornelius being accepted as absent. Go second.
Second.
Okay. Madam Secretary. It's consent vote. I don't know, do we need to?
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Cornelius, Commissioner Escamilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Shipp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi,
Yes.
Chair Rush.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Cornelius absent.
Okay, we have any comments?
Just as a quick update, first of all, happy new year to everyone. And secondly, we are inching forward with the requirements for the auditing of the Mills Act, as has been brought up earlier this meeting. We've been working with our IT department to generate a web page where individuals could log in after receiving a notice from the city and enter the information that's required for us to be able to do that in batches, starting with the oldest properties and moving forward. So we'll provide regular updates on that process as we have meetings in the evenings. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Commissioner comments, I'll start with Commissioner Heineke.
Wishing everybody a happy new year and ready to start the year and hopefully see more people come and bring their beautiful homes and protect them with the Mills Act. And hello to everybody.
Commissioner Harden.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. Congratulations to our new Mills Act applicants and CERC register. And a reminder to staff that we need to get busy on the CERC Preservation Awards. It's been a few years and spring's here, so we need to do that. 2024, please.
Happy New Year to everybody. Congratulations to the winners. And Andrea, outstanding job today on the presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Happy anniversary. Happy New Year, everybody. And thank you, staff. Great presentation and answering. And congratulations to all the homeowners and so forth. And we love taking from Costa Mesa. Gotcha. And so forth. I just want to know, I'm next meeting is what, March the 7th? Is that correct?
Yes, March 7th.
March 7th. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Commissioner Escamilla.
Yeah, just thanks to staff, everyone here and present that's going through the historic application process the right way. So we appreciate that. We know a lot of our funds get modified without permits, which is not a good move for anybody. I guess just a question for staff. My understanding is that there is a historic Chinatown monument that's currently being worked on. I don't know if that's going to be coming to the commission or if we're going to have any input, but I'd be kind of curious about that whole process. Because I know we really do mostly the HEMAs and the Mills Act, but when it comes to monuments and kind of memorials of that nature, I do believe it would be appropriate for input from this particular body. But don't know if we actually technically are involved in any way. Is really, but just to flag it for the rest of the commission as well, that is happening somewhere out there, but I don't know very many details about that.
Okay. Congratulations to your folks in the Allen House with your approval, and you guys certainly get the reward for reinvesting back in the property. And when we talk about the additional expense involved in owning a historic property, as Robert said, you've got more than your share of credit to last you probably until your children are senior citizens, I'm sure. So because what you're doing is a incredible investment into that property. So congratulations to you. And to I guess the folks from Washington School, they've vanished. They're out celebrating, but congratulations to them as well. I do want to call your attention that on the 16th of March, you might want to put on your calendar is the Preserve Orange County Preservation Roundtable, which will actually be happening at the Old Red Church and at the Episcopal Church of the Messiah. And that'll happen from like 8:30 in the morning until around 3:30 in the afternoon. And that's sponsored by Preserve Orange County. And they invite preservation folks from all over the county to come and share what's going on in their community so we can all learn from one another and so forth. So, and it'll be there in the fellowship well, I won't call it a hall, a fellowship basement at the Episcopal Church of the Messiah. So, which I was able to get their paint to donate all of the paint to have it repainted. So about beg your pardon? March the 16th, that's a Saturday. So anyway, put that on your calendar. And I want to also thank Commissioner Ship for the comments you have, sir.
Yes, I'd like to say, thanks to staff, congratulations to the new homeowners. Happy New Year's to everyone. I'm a little under the weather today. I pray that everyone had an awesome New Year's. On behalf of the Orange County Heritage Council, I would like to invite everyone out to our MLK program at Santa Ana College at Phillips Hall this coming Monday, January 15th. Service will begin at 11 p.m. I also would like to invite everyone out to our 44th annual Orange County Black History Parade and Unity Festival in the city of Anaheim, Saturday, February 3rd, 2024, with the parade kicks off at 10 a.m. Would love to see everyone that can make it out. That's it.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ship. Oh, wait, just a note for staff. We can hardly hear him. Can you guys hear him all right? The volume on that needs to be tweaked up. So, okay, I guess this concludes our meeting, and we are adjourned until March the 7th. And hopefully we'll be back in our, is this mark a permanent evicted from council chambers or, so, and hopefully we'll be able to dig up a gavel between now and then. So anyway, we'll send all. Bye-bye.